Hey guys, I wanted to talk again today about trusting yourself, and it's because it's constantly coming up, especially at the moment for a lot of us. And the ways that it's coming up is in very many forms. Now, these forms can present as opportunities that you see and then you move towards as if divinely led, and then they disappear. And what I mean by that is, say that there's an opportunity that's been presented and you get like this real yes. And you were like, yes, finally, I know what direction I'm headed. I know what I'm going to do next. I have a plan. I have it all laid out in front of me. And then you start to make those steps towards that and you're feeling pretty good, pretty confident. And then all of a sudden it crumbles. It falls down. Or like me, in my experience, you actually get told you're not doing that anymore. And I just wanted to remind you that it's part of it. When we're letting go of control and starting to really trust in our heart and ourselves, we can only go to what's called kind of a glass ceiling that we have as our capability and our worth and our belief. There's so many different things that create these ceilings. And so as we're growing and evolving on the path, these ceilings can become higher and higher. And that's basically the point. You can even break through the ceilings, however it comes visually to you. But I'm seeing these ceilings just keep getting higher and higher. And what this means is when you see a potential that you may be able to reach and you go, oh my God, that's it, that's where I'm going. Then you evolve, and it's happening rapidly at the moment. Then you evolve, and then all of a sudden your ceiling can now be up here. So what you were achieving or what you were striving to achieve before is actually lower than what you were able to achieve now. And this is what I mean, even though it's so frustrating at times because you finally thought that you knew what your role was or you knew where you were headed, and then it keeps shifting. So the biggest thing, and basically the only thing that's going to get you through this extremely frustrating, or often frustrating and often difficult time, is trusting yourself. See, it's these times where we want to cling to an idea that we had, an idea that we thought we were going to do, a thing that we thought we were going to put our time and energy into. And that's when it becomes difficult. I mean, you can stay there, but you're just going to be staying here. And eventually, as you're evolving, you're going to feel like that's pulling you down. And this is part of the reason why you are being taught to hear your inner self. Because your inner self is always going to be guiding you to the highest place possible. Now, what happens is as you're being led there, things are having to fall away. And if you are on the path, which I assume you are watching this video, if you're on the path, you know that as we shed these layers, we are able to hold more light. So I'm actually visually feeling it as a coming up, whereas in my previous video, I did mention it's almost like the higher self is coming in. So however you feel it happening, it's almost like you're being led to higher ground. Now, what we've been taught through our lives and what we believe the way of life to be is going to get is going to come up against what we're experiencing, because we've been taught you have a plan, you know where you're going, what are you, who are you going to be, and it kind of was a destination to achieve in life. And what's actually amusing, that if you think back in your life and think about these destinations that you've achieved and wonder, did you feel fulfilled? Did you feel fulfilled when you got to this said destination? No. And if you did, it was probably for a short amount of time, because we are ever evolving, ever growing beings. We are constantly learning. And if we're not, that actually means that we're stuck. And as energetic beings, we could just be generating so much energy that it actually gets quite uncomfortable to be stuck there. And we can just become more dense and more solid and just feel heavier. And that's when we cause dis-ease. And it's just not very nice. So although this process is really uncomfortable, it is reminding you that you are always evolving and growing. And being on this path, specifically at this time, means that you are evolving so fast that it's almost, I'm just getting shown now, it's like you're in a car and you are passing the signs on the road. So there's your destination. You looked at it and you had 1,053 miles to go, and you are so on point. I know where I'm going. I can't wait to get there. Seeing the signs pass, 600 miles to go, 300 miles to go. And then with the 30-mile to go sign, it says road closed ahead, detour this way. Now you can go through the road closed sign when you reach the turnoff, but I guarantee you the road closed sign is a warning, because you are being detoured to a better destination. And it's hard. It's hard to figure it out. It's hard to conceptualize the egoic mind and the rational mind that this can actually be happening. Even me saying it, channeling it now, makes me feel like I'm just making it up to make myself and everybody else feel better. That's so normal. It's normal on the path to think that you're crazy, because your egoic mind has to believe what it needs to believe to have some sort of control, right? And so it actually needs to be out of control for anything new to happen, for anything new to come into your field, because all it has is the past stories that it knows. And that's your experiences or what you've heard or your beliefs. And it, quite often, they're not even your stories. Okay, so what I'm being shown now is what you were told when you were younger forms your personality, forms your belief system, right? Then, because we are amazingly powerful beings, we're actually creating our reality. So where do we create this reality from? We create it from our belief system. So because we were given, yes, that's the right word, given this belief system through what we experienced when we were younger, we actually were given our reality. Now, this is why it's often referred to as the remembering, is because it's remembering that all of this stuff is just a story you've been told. And because you're creating it, you're actually creating everything that you've been told over and over again to reconfirm it. So this is why this part feels so uncomfortable, because you're not actually allowed to know what's coming for it to be able to be where you need to be. And there's nowhere to actually be. I'm just getting told. There's no actual destination. It is literally just this constant diverting and turning and diverting, and because it's, especially, I'm just getting told a lot of information, especially as a reflector, because this energetic process we have, and I'm hearing, God, okay, slow down. I'm hearing that lots of other design types are similar to this, because we're so constantly absorbing this energy and flowing it through us. It's changing every moment. It really is. And if you don't want to get stuck on one idea and one level and hold on to it, like they're just showing me like a flowing down a stream and holding on to one of the branches as you're passing, like the stream's just going to keep going and keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Then that branch will crack and break. You're better off just letting go and going with the flow and just trusting the divine guidance, because you know it's everywhere. You know your synchronicities are everywhere. It is the part of you that wants to cling, that wants to know, the egoic part, the human part, the belief system that you need to know where you are, you need to know where you're going, and you need a destination. But I promise you, the journey is the destination, and this is all part of it. I hope this helped. Yeah.